Hello and welcome to another episode of the Why Not Today podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Kane, and for over 31 years, I have built businesses through relationships, referrals, networking, consistent action. And not only have I built businesses, but I've helped many other thousands of people grow businesses. And now I help service-based entrepreneurs find more opportunities, attract more clients, and grow their business with confidence. If you're ready for practical strategies, encouragement, and accountability to help you move forward, you're in the right place. So let's jump into today's episode. I want to talk to you about cold leads, hot leads, and the visibility. Said, would you rather walk into a room of 100 strangers or in a room of 10 people who already know you and excited to meet you? Most business owners spend their time chasing more leads when they really just need warmer leads. The easiest sales conversations you'll ever have with people you already know that know, like, and trust you. And I talk about the know, like, and trust a lot. So if you're struggling to get clients, you may not have a sales problem. You may just have a visibility problem. No one can know, like, and trust you if they don't know you exist. Today, I want to talk about the difference between cold leads, warm leads, hot leads, and how visibility and consistency can turn strangers into clients. And cold leads take more time, bottom line. So a hot lead is easier to close, but a cold lead takes time. But you need the cold lead to grow to warm leads to hot leads. Does it make sense? So a cold lead, somebody that has no idea who you are. They don't know your name. They've never heard of you. Somebody that has no idea what you do. I mean, it could be someone close in your world, but they have no idea what you do because maybe you haven't. Somebody that doesn't trust you yet and doesn't know whether you're good at what you do. And examples might be somebody you randomly need a networking event. I went to a BNI meeting last week. And one of the reasons I went is because it was in my hometown. And I've lived here my whole life and I know a lot of the players. I knew nobody in the room except for one person. And I'm like, I need people to know who I am. Someone who just randomly found you on Facebook. Have you made some friend connections with people? And there's nothing other than maybe a mutual friend, but they don't know who you are. Somebody just met on a Facebook group. Somebody sitting next to you at Starbucks. Somebody who found you on your website. I had somebody I met years ago at Smith Mountain Lake on a boat, and we connected on Facebook, and she's been watching me. 13 years later, she reached out and wanted to order some products. So you never know. So cold leads aren't bad. They're simply cold and they don't know enough about you to make a decision. So we need to warm them up. So on the other hand, what's a hot lead? Somebody knows you already. They know who you are, understand how you help people. They trust your experience, has seen that you show up consistently and feel connected to you and your message. And so, and then there's medium leads. So like my sister who knows me super well and my family, but she even said, my sister the other day, she goes, how can you give me something that says exactly what you do so I can refer people to you? Like when I still cake director, but people know I sell skincare. That's easy. But with a new business and my coaching, what exactly do I do? And so examples of hot leads would be referrals. You know, when somebody knows your services and somebody recommends you, it's a hot lead. People that maybe, like I have a podcast, people listen to my podcast and over again, and they're building that know, like, and trust. Somebody following you on social media that's been following you a long time. If you do a workshop, somebody attended your workshop, somebody that's watched some of your content, someone who's been on your email list for a while. A hot lead is also like I go to a couple networking events every couple weeks. People get to know me. And so by the time you schedule a call, they almost feel like they know you. And so for Mary Kay, cold leads were somebody I met at a booth or a networking table. Hot leads were referrals. Like if I had a party or somebody said, oh, you got to meet Leslie, those I've already done business with them. So those become hot leads and they build that know, like, and trust. So let's talk about your own business. Would you rather spend an hour convincing someone to trust you, spend an hour talking to someone who's already excited to meet you? So the problem is that many entrepreneurs are trying to close their cold leads. You meet somebody at an event, and then you think they're going to be a customer, and they know nothing about you. I love when you walk into networking events, like this happened to me one time. I walked in, the woman standing at the door. It was the first time I'd been to this event, so I'm trying to get a feel for the event, who's in the room. And how it functions. And I walked in and she handed me a brochure. She goes, "Hi, I'm having a workshop. Come." I'm like, I didn't know who she was. I had no like and trust. Why would I go there? And literally threw her thing away. So, you go to one networking event, people think that they're ready to hire you. No, you post one thing on social media and wonder why nobody bought. You have one coffee meeting because get frustrated because nothing happens. Relationships, guys, do not work that way. You don't go from a blind date to marriage in a day. It doesn't happen. You have to build that relationship. So you take the cold lead and turn it into a warm lead. So people buy when they feel comfortable with you, when they trust you. They buy when they understand when they know that you understand the problem. And one conversation is rarely enough. It takes time. And visibility is so important. But I think a lot of people think of it as vanity. One thing I hear all the time is, I hate social media. I don't want to put myself out there. I'm not good at marketing. I don't know what to post. I don't want to bother people. Oh my gosh, I've heard that much, so much. And visibility kind of has become a bad word, but people need to know who we are. So people think visibility means becoming an influencer or dancing on Instagram or TikTok. That's not what it is. Visibility simply means giving people more opportunities to know you. And visibility can look like networking consistently at the same group, keep showing up, posting on social media, sending emails, doing Facebook Lives, hosting workshops, recording a podcast. How can you get your content out there? How can you be a guest on somebody else's? Volunteering in the community, following up with people, asking for referrals, going back to networking groups consistently. So every one of those things increase your visibility. So it's kind of like if you had a jar of marbles, and every time people get to know you, you kind of put some in the jar of marbles. As I've said on many episodes recently, I've been trying to be, or not trying, I am more active on Facebook. And so making friend requests and getting to know people. And I have literally walked in rooms and people are like, I know you. We're friends on Facebook. I have no idea who they are, but they're watching me because I'm out there. I went on a couple of people's Facebook pages the other day, their personal page. And from their personal page, I had no idea they had business. Like, people, we have to be visible. Running a business, unless you have a secret business or want to be an undercover agent, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, they are great opportunities to grow your business and get people to know who you are. So it's for the right people to feel like they know you. Like, I've met people and they're like, "Oh, I know you. I know your dog." And it's not about getting famous. It's about becoming familiar. So visibility creates familiarity. There's a psychological concept called the mere exposure test. The more people are exposed to something, the more comfortable they are with it. Think about businesses you use regularly. You probably didn't hire them after one interaction. You saw them repeatedly, can't talk today, until they became familiar and trustworthy. The same happens with business. People need to see you before they're ready to hire you. The business owners I work with often think it's a lead problem, but most of the time it's really just visibility. When you join my Facebook group, which is called Consistent Clients, one of the questions I ask is, what's hard in your business? And most often people are like, visibility. So it does take more touches than ever. Years ago, marketers said the rule of 7. The idea was people need to see you, hear you, see you in action 7 times before they make a sale. Now marketers say the number is higher. I've been saying 21, but I was on the call with a friend of mine who has a marketing firm. She's like 25 now. And the point is that it's more than one. So people need to see you, hear you, listen to you, learn from you, watch you show up consistently, understand what you do, and experience personality and values. And that takes time. Trust isn't built overnight. There's somebody I recently connected with, and one day I was walking to an event and she stopped me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Leslie Kane." I had no idea who she was, but she's been following me. She knows what I'm doing. Before I walk in a room with her, she's already promoting me because she sees what I'm doing. Not that I've connected with her that many times. So cold leads become hot leads through visibility and consistency. I'm going to say that again. Cold leads become hot leads through visibility and consistency. So you warm them up by sharing content, as I said, showing up consistently, sending email, recording podcasts. You guys, podcasts are a great way to be a guest or to do your own podcast and get out there and people get familiar with you. And I think I'm going to do a whole episode on the power of a podcast, and I'm going to do a workshop on how to start a podcast. If that's an idea you have, if you attend networking events regularly, following up. I went to an event this morning and came home and immediately sent out emails to the 4 new people I met, and being able to follow up and have a tracking system, hosting workshops, having coffee chats, sharing stories and lessons. I've said these before, but I'm going to keep saying you got to keep doing those. And then how are they going to get hot? So almost like if you have, I'm thinking like a scale, and you just move the little, the little card thing, you move it along the road. So you take a cold lead, and every time you do something, you're putting a marble in the marble jar, and they're becoming more of a hot lead. So your content isn't just marketing, it's relationship building at scale. So last week I did go to a BNI group and wondered whether or not I can go twice. And do I go right away or wait a while? And so I was kind of on the fence, and they invited me back for this week. And so, you know what? I'm going to go. I think familiarity and showing up again. They saw me once, they heard me. Now to show up again, and they're going to hear me again, and they're going to say, "Oh, I need to know Leslie." And so, saying the same thing, that visibility works because familiarity grows through repetition. Warmth happens faster when touch points are closer together. And so my coach recently challenged me to do a Facebook Live every day for a week. And at first I thought that sounded like a lot, but I'm a competitive girl, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. So I literally got off the call with my coach and did a Facebook Live. And I've done them not just a week, but I've done them for 9 days now. And what I realized that 7 opportunities in 1 week for people to get to know me better. Someone might watch 30 seconds on Monday, maybe watch 2 minutes on Wednesday, the entire video on Friday, send me a message on Saturday. You don't know. They don't buy because of one Facebook Live. They don't buy because of one post. They build that trust with your accumulated time. So your content isn't working, or your content is working, even when you don't see it. You're waiting for people to like it and engage in it, but sometimes they're just looking at it. I've looked at posts and I'm like, I had no idea that many people paid attention to it. Of my group of 900 and some people, like 50% are engaged in my content. That's a lot. So you have no idea who's paying attention. Goes back to my starfish story. If you don't know that, go back and watch the previous episode. Someone may listen to your podcast every week and never tell you. Somebody may read your email that you sent every email. I have somebody, she's like, I get your emails and I save them when I have time to read them. Somebody may be quietly following you on social media for 6 months, a year before reaching out. Your content is doing more than you think. Every podcast episode builds trust. Every social media builds trust. Every networking event builds trust. Every email builds trust. You're warming people up long before they raise their hand. So I want you to stop asking yourself, how do I get more leads? And start asking yourself, how do I make my leads more? Then ask, am I visible enough? Am I showing up consistently enough? Am I giving people enough opportunities to know, like, and trust me? What can I do this week to make myself a little more visible? And do people know what you're doing? Are you an undercover agent? And let's come out from the closet, quote unquote, and let people know what we're doing. Let's shout from the rooftops. If you have a business and you want to make a difference, let's tell people about it. So remember, cold leads won't become warm leads. Warm leads become hot leads. Hot leads become clients. Visibility creates familiarity. Familiarity creates trust. Trust is opportunities, and that leads to clients. So your next client may already know your name. They just don't know enough about you yet to say yes. So that's why consistency matters. You're not just marketing your business, you're building relationships every single time you show up. I know sometimes it's the boring stuff, but consistently doing this stuff makes a difference. So if you're waiting for the perfect time to become more visible, here's a reminder. Why not today? So I hope that resonated with you. If it did, share with a friend, tell somebody else about the podcast, and give us a review and like us and subscribe. So thanks again for listening to the Why Not Today podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with a friend, post on social media, or leave a review. It helps us reach more entrepreneurs who are ready to grow their business and take actions that matter most. To learn more about Why Not Today, community coaching, free resources, you go to my Facebook group, which is Consistent Clients. or my website, whynotsavemovement.com. Remember, you don't have to have everything figured out. Just have to take one next step. And remember, always ask yourself, "How about today?" All right. Thanks again for joining me. Bye.